The Grand Astoria Hotel stood gleaming in the morning sun, its 50 stories of luxury serving as the perfect backdrop for the Richardson family's annual reunion. I sat in my modest office, actually the hotel's private executive suite, watching the security feeds as my relatives arrived in their expensive cars. I smoothed down my simple black blazer, a bespoke Armani that they'd mistake for off the rack, and smiled at the irony of the situation. They had no idea that every reservation, every room upgrade, every complimentary luxury they'd received came directly from me. My phone buzzed with my Aunt Catherine's latest text. "Julia, dear, best you skip the reunion this year. We want to maintain a certain image. No failures allowed." If they only knew that their precious venue was just one property in my billion-dollar hospitality empire. That every elite hotel they'd ever bragged about staying in was actually mine. "Ms. Richardson," my assistant Michael appeared at the door. "Your family has begun checking in. Your cousin Amanda is demanding the presidential suite." "Give it to her," I said quietly, watching the security feed. "Let them all have whatever upgrades they want. For now." Through the cameras, I could see my sister Vanessa holding court in the lobby, designer luggage piled around her. "The Richardson family only stays in the finest hotels," she was telling anyone who would listen. "We have standards to maintain." Standards that had apparently led them to ban their own family member from attending. Not that they knew I'd been running their favorite luxury hotels for the past decade. Julia's little bed and breakfast failed in 6 months? I heard my cousin Peter laugh as he joined the group. "Can't have that kind of embarrassment at a Richardson gathering." They didn't know that my failed bed and breakfast had been a deliberate experiment, learning the hospitality industry from the ground up while quietly acquiring some of the world's most prestigious hotels. My phone buzzed again with updates from the front desk. Richardson party demanding private dining room. Complimentary champagne requested in all suites. Mrs. Catherine Richardson insisting on meeting with hotel ownership. I smiled at the last one. Aunt Catherine had been trying to network with the mysterious owner of the Astoria hotel chain for years. She'd even bragged about having connections to the top management. "The private dining room is prepared," Michael reported, "though they might not enjoy tonight's revelation as much as their champagne." I nodded, thinking of all the family gatherings I'd been excluded from. The holidays where they'd mocked my small business aspirations. The reunions where they'd showcased their success while dismissing mine. "Has everything been arranged exactly as I specified?" I asked, opening my laptop to check the evening's preparations. "Yes, Ms. Richardson. The ownership documents will be displayed during their private dinner. Your name will be quite prominent." Through the security feeds, I watched my family continue to arrive, each of them trying to outdo the others with their displays of wealth. Wealth that mostly existed through credit lines and leveraged assets. "Julia would have loved this place," I heard my mother say wistfully. "She always did have good taste in hotels." "Good taste doesn't pay bills," Aunt Catherine sniffed. "Besides, she's probably still trying to make that ridiculous hospitality consulting business work." If they only knew that my ridiculous consulting business was a front for one of the largest hotel conglomerates in the world. That every luxury they were currently enjoying existed at my discretion. My phone lit up with another message, this time from the hotel's general manager. "Family dinner arrangements confirmed. Ownership presentation ready for 8 p.m. "Perfect," I replied, standing up to prepare for the evening. Time to show my family exactly what kind of failure they banned from their reunion. Because sometimes success doesn't need an invitation. Sometimes it just needs to own the building. The Richardson family's private dining room buzzed with self-congratulatory conversation as evening fell. Through the hidden observation panel, I watched them all settle into their seats, each trying to claim the most prominent position at the table. "The service here is impeccable," Aunt Catherine declared, smoothing her designer dress. "I simply must meet the owner. My connections in the hospitality industry speak very highly of them." I suppressed a laugh, thinking of all the networking events where she'd tried and failed to meet the mysterious hotel magnate she was so desperate to impress. "Ms. Richardson," Michael whispered, appearing at my side. "Everything is in place. The ownership documents are ready to be displayed, and the hotel's executive team is prepared for your entrance." I nodded, watching my cousin Amanda brag about her latest business venture. funded entirely by loans she'd soon struggle to repay. Have they received the special menu cards? Just being distributed now. Through the panel, I watched as the servers handed out elegant menu cards. On the surface, they appeared to be standard luxury hotel stationery. But when turned over, each one revealed a carefully curated list of the guests' past stays at my hotels, complete with room charges and special requests. "Oh my," Vanessa's voice carried across the room. "They've listed all our previous visits. How thorough. The owner must be quite detail-oriented," Peter commented, then froze as he saw his own list. His face paled at the reminder of the weekend he'd charged to his company card. The same weekend he'd claimed to be at a business conference. My phone buzzed with messages from the front desk. Richardson party becoming unsettled by personalized menus. Mrs. Catherine Richardson demanding to speak with management. Several guests attempting to modify previous stay records. "Shall we proceed with phase 2? Michael asked. "Yes," I smiled, straightening my now obviously expensive blazer. Time to show them who really owns their favorite luxury playground. The dining room's massive screens suddenly came to life, displaying the Astoria hotel chain's corporate structure. At the top, my name glowed in elegant script: Julia Richardson, CEO and owner. The room fell silent. Aunt Catherine's wine glass slipped from her perfectly manicured hands, shattering against the marble floor. This must be a mistake," Vanessa stammered. "Actually," I said, finally stepping through the hidden door, "it's not." The looks on their faces were priceless. Gone was their condescension, replaced by shocked recognition as they realized that the family failure they'd banned from their reunion owned not just this hotel, but every luxury hotel they'd ever bragged about visiting. "Julia," my mother whispered, her voice trembling. "Surprised to see me?" I moved to the head of the table, the seat they'd always denied me. "I thought failures weren't allowed at the family reunion. But your bed and breakfast," Peter sputtered, "was a learning experience," I finished for him. "One of many while I built my hotel empire. Though you were all too busy mocking my small aspirations to notice what I was really creating." The screens shifted to display more data. My worldwide hotel holdings, revenue figures that dwarfed their combined net worth, and a list of every Richardson family stay at my properties. "You've been watching us this whole time," Aunt Catherine realized, her face ashen. "Watching, recording, and building," I confirmed. "While you were all bragging about staying at the finest hotels, I was quietly buying them." The Richardson family dining room had transformed from a showcase of success to a tableau of stunned silence. The elaborate crystal chandeliers, selected by me, though they didn't know it then, cast dancing shadows across their shocked faces. "Let me make sure I understand this correctly," Aunt Catherine's voice quivered. "You own all of it? The entire Astoria chain?" "The Astoria chain is just the beginning," I replied, gesturing to Michael, who activated the next presentation. The screens filled with my complete portfolio. Luxury hotels across 6 continents, exclusive resorts, private islands, an empire worth billions. "But you were struggling," Vanessa protested weakly. "That little bed and breakfast in Vermont was my first lesson in hospitality," I cut her off. "Dad always said, learn the business from the ground up. So I did. While you were all posting photos from my hotel's presidential suites, I was learning every aspect of the industry." "Those suites cost thousands per night," Peter interjected, trying to regain his composure. "Yes," I smiled coldly. "And you charged them to your company card during your supposed business trips with your secretary. Should we discuss those records in detail?" Peter's face went pale as several family members turned to stare at him. "Your little consulting business," my mother began. "Was a front," I confirmed. "One of many. Every time you mocked my small career, I was actually running one of the largest hospitality groups in the world. Those connections you were all so desperate to make? They all reported to me." My phone buzzed with messages from hotel managers worldwide. My empire never slept. But tonight my focus was here, watching my family finally understand exactly who they'd underestimated. "The ownership documents are ready for review," Michael announced, distributing leather folders, including detailed records of every Richardson family stay at our properties. "You've been tracking us?" Amanda's voice cracked. Like you tracked my failures? I moved to the window looking out over the city I partly owned. Every mocking text, every excluded invitation, every dismissive comment about my career. I kept those too. Along with the bills you all racked up staying at my hotels. The screens shifted to display a new set of figures. The combined total of their luxury stays, charged to various credit cards and expense accounts. Consider tonight your final stay, I announced. Effective immediately, all Richardson family members are banned from Astoria properties worldwide. Your premium memberships are revoked, your loyalty points forfeit, and your corporate accounts closed. You can't do this, Aunt Catherine protested. We're family. Family. I laughed softly. Like when you texted me this morning. No failures allowed, at the reunion? Well, consider this my response. No entitled relatives allowed in my hotels. Julia, please. Vanessa stood up, her designer dress suddenly seeming like a costume. We can fix this. Fix what? My success. The empire you never noticed I was building? Or your suddenly very public humiliation? On cue, the screens displayed breaking news headlines. Hotel magnate Julia Richardson reveals identity. Astoria Hotel's owner exposes family drama. Banned from family reunion, billionaire CEO owns the venue. The press is waiting in the lobby, Michael informed me. They're particularly interested in the rags to riches angle. Tell them the truth, I decided. About how being labeled a failure by my own family drove me to build something greater than they could imagine. By midnight, I stood in my real office. The entire top floor of Astoria's flagship hotel. The city lights twinkled below, each luxury hotel sign a reminder of what I'd built while they weren't watching. Your family has checked out, Michael reported. Though your mother left this. He handed me an old photo of me at my failed bed and breakfast opening, smiling hopefully while my family sneered in the background. Frame it, I decided. Put it next to my Forbes cover. A reminder that success doesn't need their permission. The next morning, I watched from my office as my family members departed, dragging their designer luggage toward their expensive cars. No more upgrades, no more premium suites, no more bragging about their connections to luxury hotels. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Aunt Catherine. I understand now. Why you kept it secret. Why you let us think you failed. You were building an empire while we were just pretending to have connections to one. I didn't respond. Some lessons don't need acknowledgement. Some victories are sweeter in silence. And sometimes the best revenge isn't getting invited to the reunion. It's owning the building and changing the locks. Because success doesn't need their approval. Sometimes it just needs to wait for the perfect moment to show them exactly who they underestimated. In the end, they banned a failure from their family reunion, only to discover that their entire luxury lifestyle existed at her discretion. Sometimes karma doesn't just come full circle. It comes with a presidential suite view and a very final bill.